The sun was hot on FOB Griffin. The dust was white. The base was a collection of ESCO barriers and prefab huts carved into the side of a mountain. He rose from the ground. Soldiers moved between the buildings. Sweat shone on their faces. It was early morning. The barren land stretched out. There were mountains and dust from the trucks. Ellie Vance moved across the base. She carried a 20 kg pack of ammunition. They called her Ellie. She was 23 and 5 feet 4 inches tall. The load was too big for her. The look on her face was not funny. Her olive green T- shirt was dark with sweat. Her blonde hair was in a tight bun. Her eyes were sharp. They scanned everything. Mouse. Get your arse over here with that ammo. A sergeant bellowed from across the compound. The nickname had stuck since she joined up. Ellie walked faster. Her boots kicked up dust. She moved between the concrete barriers. The name was an insult at first. It was about her size. Then it became respect. She could move through tight spaces. She was quiet. She was not big. She was fast and precise. "Coming, Sergeant," she called back. The pack was heavy on her shoulders. Chinook thundered overhead. The roar of its rotors filled the air. The helicopter cast a shadow across the base. The sound made her remember. Another helicopter. Another time. In the Scottish Highlands, where she grew up. 10 years earlier, Cairngorm, Scotland. The mountain air was cold on Ellie's cheeks. She followed her grandfather through the pine forest. William Vance moved with a quiet confidence. He knew these mountains. His hands held an old Parker Hale hunting rifle. "Remember what I taught you about the wind, Ellie," he said. His voice was quiet. The wind moved through the trees. It's not just what you feel. Watch the treetops. Watch the grass. The wind here is not the wind down there. She was 13. She nodded. She clutched her own rifle. A gift from him. William Vance was a legend in their small town. He had been in the SAS. He fought in Malaya. Then MI6 recruited him. For the Cold War. He did not talk about those days. But when he did, his voice had a quiet authority. It made an impression on her. "Patience," he said. He crouched behind a fallen log. He motioned for her to join him. A good shot is not a great shot. Aim is not enough. You must wait for the right moment. They settled into position. They looked over a small clearing. William pulled out a notebook. The pages were filled with numbers and notes. "Always keep records," he said. He wrote down the temperature and the wind. Memory fails. Notes do not. Hours passed. William taught Ellie to read the forest, to sense the wind change, to know the patterns of the animals, to control her breathing. Her heartbeat and the world seemed to synchronize. A stag appeared at the edge of the clearing. William did not rush her. "Take your time," he whispered. "Breathe. Hold. Squeeze between heartbeats." The rifle cracked. The sound echoed through the mountains. The stag dropped. It was a clean kill. Ellie's first hunt. That night, they sat by the fire in his cabin. Her grandfather pulled a metal box from under his bed. Inside was a leather journal. The pages were yellow with age. "Shooting is more than hunting, Ellie," he said. His voice was serious. "Sometimes it's about protecting people." He opened the journal. There were detailed notes, sketches of positions, calculations. They were not like the ones from the forest. "Someday it'll teach you everything. Not because I want you to follow me, because knowledge should not be lost." An explosion brought her back. It was not close. It was a reminder. FOB Griffin was in contested country. She walked faster. She gave the ammunition to the sergeant. Then she went to the armory. The armory was her favorite place.
He'll be back.
It had air conditioning. The warrant officer who ran it let her handle the weapons.
Private Vance,
When it was quiet,
you directly
she liked the lone 129 sharpshooter rifle. She read its manual. She memorized the specifications. She entered the cool building. A man stepped from the shadows. He was tall and lean. He was in his 60s. He had short silver hair and a straight back. He was military.
I accept your apology, sir.
Captain Jack Harding was not in her chain of command. He was a special operations advisor. He was respected on the base. The lines around his eyes spoke of harsh suns and far-off places. Private Vance. He nodded. His voice was gravelly. I heard you were on the range yesterday. On your own time. Ali stiffened. Yes, sir. Maintaining proficiency. Sir, Harding studied her. His face was hard to read. Perfect score at 600 meters. With the standard issue 85. That's more than proficiency. Isn't it? Her cheeks were warm. I like shooting, sir. I grew up with it. Scotland, right? Harding asked. He already knew the answer. Your file says your grandfather raised you. Yes, sir. William Vance. Something changed in Harding's face. Recognition. Or something else. William Vance, he repeated. SAS Malaya. Then other assignments. Ellie's eyes narrowed. Most people only knew about the SAS. The other assignments were not in any official record she had seen. You knew my grandfather, sir? Harding seemed to choose his words. We crossed paths. A long time ago. He paused. He changed the subject. Tell me, Private. What do you think of the intel for tomorrow's operation?
Sir.
The question was a surprise. A logistics soldier was not asked about operational intelligence. She had read everything about the mission. I raid on a compound. Bar Maker was there. He had killed many soldiers. With respect, sir, something's not right, she said. The informant has no history with us. The compound has many escape routes, but few ways in for our men. The hills around it are perfect firing positions. For an ambush, Harding's face did not change. His steel minus gray eyes glinted. Maybe it was approval. Most of your superiors are happy with the intelligence, he said. Ellie squared her shoulders. Most of my superiors haven't spent their lives studying firing positions, sir. Harding's mouth twitched. It was almost a smile. Your grandfather taught you well. He turned to leave. He paused. Sometimes the best skill isn't hitting a target. Vance. It's knowing which targets to leave alone. He left. Ellie returned to her work. His words stayed in her mind. Her hand brushed a small leather pouch in her uniform. Her grandfather's last gift. He had died 6 months ago. Weeks before she deployed. That night, she opened the pouch. Inside was a small leather notebook.
I appreciate that,
It was
Sergeant.
older than the one from her childhood. The pages were fragile. William had given it to her on his deathbed. His hands trembled. There are things I never told you. Ellie, he had whispered. Things about my time with the service. This journal has records of missions, not in any official file. Someday you might need to know. She had not read it until she came to Afghanistan. What she found stunned her. Covert operations in Europe. During the Cold War.
Understood,
Precision
Private.
shots at impossible distances. References to something called Operation Red Storm. Final entry shook her. October 1983, Berlin. Our grandfather had to eliminate a Soviet operative, Ivan Koslov, a legendary KGB sniper.
What's our
The mission
exit
failed.
strategy?
It was the only failure in the journal.
Wind at 204
William's
miles
final
per hour.
notes were personal. Koslov escaped. He saw my face. This will not end here. Now, Captain Harding's interest in her grandfather was important. Did they work together? Why hadn't he said so? A knock at her door.
800 meters
A
in
sealed
15
envelope.
winds.
Her name was typed on it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. 500. Firing range 3rd. Come alone. H. Sleep did not come. Fuh. The sky was dark.
He's here, isn't
Ellie
he?
arrived at firing range
Koslov.
3. Was isolated. Special forces used it. The first light of dawn was on the
I saw a shadow
horizon.
move.
It
was
made
too
long
fast for one of
shadows.
ours.
She was 15 minutes early. A habit from her grandfather. If you're not early, you're late. Captain Harding was already there. His silhouette was sharp against the
Koslov was
sky.
studying her.
On a table next to him was a rifle. An 129 one. Same model from the armory. Right on time, Vance, Harding said.
I can handle
He did
Koslov
not turn
myself.
around. He said 500, sir. Ellie stood at attention, at ease. Harding turned to face her. His expression was serious. What we discussed does not leave this range. Understood? Yes, sir. Harding gestured to the rifle.
Good to
Show
see you,
me
Captain Harding.
what you can do. Ellie moved to the table. She checked the weapon. She was efficient. The chamber, the magazine, the scope. Harding watched. Her movements were fluid,
No,
natural.
that's not
The
possible.
targets were at different distances, 300 to 900 meters. She started with the closest. She worked her way out. Each shot hit its mark. Center mass. No wasted rounds. When she finished, she cleared the weapon and stood. Harding had not moved. His face showed nothing. Your grandfather taught you more than hunting. He believed in being thorough, sir. William Vance was one of the finest marksmen I ever knew, Harding said quietly. He also understood that a good shot is nothing without good judgment. He motioned for her to follow him. A small tent was set up at the edge of the range. Inside, a map was spread on a table. There were surveillance photos. I knew your grandfather, Vance. I worked with him. For years. Harding's voice was a whisper. We were part of a special MI6 unit during the Cold War. The kind that didn't officially exist. Ellie's pulse was fast. Operation Red Storm, she said. Harding's eyes
200
narrowed.
meters, wind from the left.
He told you about that. Not exactly, sir. She trusted her instinct. He left me his journal. Surprise showed on Harding's face. He nodded slowly. That explains a few things. He tapped a photo, taken 3 days ago, by a drone, 15 kilometers from here. The image showed a man in a mountain pass. His face was partly covered. He carried a rifle like a soldier. We've identified him. Victor Koslov, Harding said. Russian. Former Spetsnaz, now a freelancer. He works for terrorist groups. An expert marksman. Confirmed kills at over 1,500 meters. The blood left Ellie's face. Koslov, she said. As in Ivan Koslov. The Soviet sniper my grandfather failed to eliminate in Berlin. Harding's eyebrows rose. That journal must be detailed. He nodded. Victor is Ivan's son. Hey, HES here. In our area, just as we're preparing for a high-minus value target mission,
Not Koslov.
you think HES connected to
Another
tomorrow's
decoy.
operation? There are no coincidences in this business.
This is
Harding pointed to the map,
We have a confirmed
to the
missile
compound.
launch.
Everything
Threat
about
is
this
aimed at
feels
FOB
wrong.
Griffin.
The intel is too easy. The target is too exposed. And it is a perfect spot for an ambush. He looked at Ellie. Your instincts were right. This is a trap. And now we have a world-minus class sniper with a grudge. A very specific grudge. Sir, why are you telling me this? In just a stores minus basher. Harding's laugh was short. A stores minus basher who shoots like a trained marksman. And has the tactical sense to spot a trap in a briefing. Don't play dumb, Vance. It doesn't suit you. He leaned forward. I've spent 20 years watching for signs of Koslov's organization, Red Storm. Former KGB agents who never accepted the Cold War was over. They've been quiet. But recently, there have been whispers. What does this have to do with tomorrow's mission? Lieutenant Davies and his SAS squadron are walking into a trap, Harding said. I've tried to warn command. They have no concrete evidence. They are proceeding. The intel is from a trusted source. The target is too valuable. And you think I can help? How? Tomorrow's mission has no sniper for Overwatch. Their usual man was flown out last week. Appendicitis. Harding tapped the lone 129A one. Someone needs to watch their backs. Ellie stared at him. Sir, with respect, I'm not qualified.
I need to
And
see
not
those
even in their
documents
unit.
now. I've
No,
got to listen.
you're not. Harding agreed. But you might be the only one on the space who can save them. If I'm right about Koslov, he paused. His face softened. I saw your scores. Vance, I've watched you on the range. You have your grandfather's gift. Have you told Lieutenant Davies about this?
God.
Harding's expression darkened. Davies is a good operator, but HES young, arrogant. He thinks his team is invincible. He dismissed my concerns. The paranoid ramblings of an old cold warrior, he called them. He straightened. I'm not asking you to volunteer, Vance. Officially. I can't ask you anything, but that rifle will be in a locker at Observation Post Charlie, half a click east of the compound. The combination is 1983. If something goes wrong tomorrow, those men might need someone watching them. Ellie nodded slowly. She understood. One more thing, Harding added. His voice was grave. If Victor Koslov is involved, this isn't just about the mission. William Vance was more than just another operative to Ivan Koslov. Their rivalry was personal. And if Victor has followed his father, finding him might be why HES here. The sun rose over the eastern mountains. It bathed the range in a harsh golden light.
I'm sorry.
A new day had arrived. The operations center was busy. Final preparations were underway. Lieutenant Jason Davies stood in the center. He was briefing his 8-man SAS squadron. He was 30-2. He had a reputation. He was aggressive, successful. Ellie stood near the back. She was there to distribute special ammunition. She listened to every detail. The compound was in a narrow valley. There were steep rocky slopes, perfect terrain for snipers. Davies finished his briefing. Ellie approached with the ammunition case. Your specialist round, sir, she said. She hesitated. Lieutenant, I noticed something about the approach route. Davies glanced up. He barely saw her. What about it, Private? Vance, sir. Ellie Vance. She pointed to the map. This route goes through a narrow pass, high ground on both sides. Shooters would have clean lines of sight for nearly 800 meters. Davies straightened. He gave her his full attention. His eyes narrowed. He looked at the small soldier. You're the ammo carrier, he stated. Since when does the RLC advise on special operations? Ellie held her ground. Just an observation, sir. The topography is a natural choke point. There are other routes, with more cover. Some of the SAS men had paused. They watched. They were amused. Annoyed. Davies glanced at his men, then back at Ellie. His jaw was tight. The SAS doesn't need a girl hauling ammo to tell us how to run an op. His voice was loud. We've been doing this since before you were in secondary school. Private. He chose to her face. Her expression was neutral. Understood. Sir, just thought it was worth mentioning. As she turned, Davies called after her. Hey, Mouse. He had heard the nickname. Stick to counting bullets. Leave the fighting to the professionals. The room fell silent. All eyes were on Ellie. She nodded once. She walked out. Her back was straight. Outside, she almost ran into Captain Harding. He had heard. HES going to get them killed, she said quietly. Harding nodded. Pride is a luxury leaders can't afford. He studied her face. What will you do? Ellie thought of her grandfather. His lessons. She thought of the rifle at OP Charlie. And of Victor Koslov, watching from the mountains. What I have to, sir. That evening, she went to the chapel. It was the one private place on the base. She sat in the last pew. She took out her grandfather's journal. She turned to the Berlin entry. 17 October 1983 Berlin. Target, Ivan Koslov, KGB. Master Sniper. Mission. Eliminate. He assassinated 3 MI6 assets. Intel says he will be at safe house 200-400. Mission failed. Koslov was not alone. Had his young son with him. Approx. 10 years old. Could not take the shot with child present. When I repositioned, Koslov detected me. Firefight. I wounded him. He escaped with the boy. Critical error. Hesitation. Koslov saw my face. He knows who I am. This will not end here.
knew it.
Service is extracting me. Operation Red Storm compromised. No, Koslov's technique is distinctive. Works alone. Uses environment to disguise shot. Multiple false firing positions. Patient. Not just a shooter. Eye hunter. Ellie closed the journal. Her grandfather's warning was in her mind. Koslov was a hunter. His son might be hunting her.
I see it. Let's mark it down.
Dawn was hours away. Ellie slipped out of her quarters. She was in full combat gear. No one questioned her. She went to the motor pool. Ackles sat idling. Captain Harding stood beside it. He checked his equipment. Last chance to reconsider, he said quietly. Not an option, sir, Ellie replied. She climbed into the passenger seat. Harding nodded. He got behind the wheel. Then let's go save some soldiers. They drove through the main gate. The sky was dark. They did not speak. They turned onto the rough track. It led toward OP Charlie. Harding broke the silence. There's something you should know, Vance, he said. His eyes were on the path. I was in Berlin with your grandfather. That night in '83. Ellie stared at him. William didn't tell you everything in that journal. Harding continued. He couldn't take the shot. It was just because the boy was there. He paused. The vehicle bounced. I was supposed to be a spotter. I wasn't in position. I was delayed at a checkpoint. William was alone. He had no backup. He had to make a call no sniper should make alone. The words sank in. You blame yourself, Ellie said. Harding's knuckles were white on the wheel. For 30 years, and now Victor Koslov is here, maybe continuing what his father started. His gaze went to Ellie. Your grandfather saved my life more times than I can count. I couldn't save him from Koslov then, but maybe I can help save his granddaughter now. The first light came. They reached OP Charlie. It was a rocky outcrop. A small camouflage shelter was built into the hillside. They had a clear view of the valley, of the compound, of the path the SAS would use. Inside the shelter was a locked case. The lone 129A1 was inside. Harding entered the combination. 1983rd. He opened it. Ellie lifted the rifle. She checked it. The way her grandfather had taught her. Harding watched her. You move just like him, he said quietly. Ellie did not respond. She prepared her position. She laid out her gear. Rajna Wind gauge. Notebook. When everything was ready, she spoke. They're coming, she said. A faint dust cloud was in the valley below. Lieutenant Davies and his squadron were on schedule. Harding took the spotter scope. To -man spotter team on the north ridge, he reported. Another on the eastern approach, while concealed. I wouldn't have seen them. Ellie's stomach tightened. It is a trap. We need to warn Davies. Harding reached for his radio. Wait, Ellie said. She studied the terrain through her scope. There's someone else. The outcrop above the eastern team. See that distortion in the rock face? Harding adjusted his scope. He nodded. Ghillie suit. High -end. Military grade. That's our primary target, Ellie said. The others are just the outer ring. That's Koslov. Harding keyed his radio. The SAS frequency. Overwatch to Saber lead. Be advised, multiple hostile shooters on your approach. This is a trap. Repeat, this is a trap. Static. Then Lieutenant Davies' voice. Tense. Angry. Who the hell is this on my frequency? Identify. This is Captain Harding. I'm at OP Charlie. I have eyes on you. You have at least 3 sniper teams waiting. You're not authorized for this op. Clear this channel immediately. Lieutenant, listen to me. This is Harding was cut off. Davies terminated the communication. HCS not going to listen. Ellie said. She adjusted her scope. They're still moving into the kill zone. Harding's expression hardened. Then we do this the hard way. He raised his binoculars. He scanned the hillside. Northridge team. Range 750 meters. Elevation plus 20th. Wind from the west at 5 knots. Ellie took in the information. She made small adjustments. Through the scope, she could see 2 men. Their rifles were aimed on the SAS squadron. She hesitated. These were her first shots in combat.
Victor Koslov.
Not at paper targets. Not at deer in the highlands. At men. Men who wanted to kill British soldiers.
Careful now.
The weight was heavy.
Did you hear that?
Her grandfather's voice was in her ear. Breathe. Hold. Squeeze between heartbeats. She steadied herself. The crusher is settled on the first shooter. His profile was clear against the rock. Target acquired, she whispered.
You've known
Send
all
it,
these years,
Harding
haven't you?
replied. His voice was calm. Ellie's finger tightened on the trigger. The rifle bucked against her shoulder.
We
Through
will
the
end
scope,
Red
the
Storm
enemy
legacy
shooter fell.
once and for all.
His partner looked for the source of the shot. Ellie had already shifted her aim. Her second shot rang out. Both down. Harding confirmed. Good shooting. Eastern team is reacting. Ellie was already reorienting.
This way.
The second team was better protected.
Directly to the stronghold.
She would need to time her shots. The radio crackled. Lieutenant Davies. His voice was urgent. OP Charlie. This is Sabre, lad. We're taking fire from the ridge line. Say again your position. Harding keyed the MiG. We're on the western overlook. We've neutralized the northern team. You've got at least 2 more positions on you. A pause. Then acknowledged. We're falling back to defensive position Alpha. Request fire
See
support.
them.
Working on it, Harding replied. Be advised, we believe Victor Koslov is on site. Repeat, Victor Koslov is on site. Who the hell is Victor Koslov? Davies demanded. The man who set this trap, Harding said. And HES very good at what he does. Owlet struck the rock near Ellie's position. Stone fragments flew. HES spotted us, Harding hissed. Ellie rolled left. She repositioned.
Oh,
Through her
no.
scope, she saw movement on the distant ridge. A figure in a ghillie suit. Almost invisible. Have eyes on Koslov, she said. Her voice was steady.
Confirmed.
Range approximately
Ivan
900
Koslov is
meters.
orchestrating
Extreme
something
range for that
catastrophic.
rifle, Harding warned. Ellie was already calculating. Distance, wind, bullet drop, the angle. She adjusted her scope. I can make it, she said. Another shot came. Closer this time.
Guard rotation
Koslov
seems to be every
was
30
zeroing
minutes.
in. Take the shot if you have it. Harding urged. Ellie took a deep breath. She could see Koslov more clearly now. A man in his 40s. His movements were deliberate, precise. It felt like they were looking at each other. 2 hunters. A Koslov shifted. He brought his rifle to bear. Ellie's finger tightened. The rifle barked. Through her scope, she saw Koslov jerk backward. He had moved at the last second. He was hit. He rolled behind cover. He disappeared. Ill got him, Harding confirmed. A shoulder hit. HES retreating.
they span
The radio
multiple
crackled
countries.
again. Lieutenant Davies. OP Charlie. We have men down. Repeat, 2 men down. Need immediate medevac. Harding grabbed the radio. Saber lead.
Yeah.
What's your situation?
Sounds like a whole
Eastern
squad.
sniper team has a spinned. Can't reach our wounded. Need that shooter neutralized. Now. Ellie was already
seem
shifting.
surprised.
She scanned for the Eastern team. She spotted them.
Welcome back,
2
Harding.
shooters in high
Red
positions.
Storm never
They
died.
were firing on Davies and his men. Range 830 meters, Harding said. Wind shifting.
Ellie Vance,
Northwest.
your
8
grandfather
knots.
spared
Ellie
my
made the
life
adjustments.
decades ago.
Her first shot struck 1 sniper.
What
The second
happened to
ducked
drills?
behind cover.
Even said-
Ellie waited.
The Soviet
Seconds
Union
passed.
bears no
A minute.
responsibility for
Then
those
2.
events.
The shooter stayed hidden. HES not going to expose himself, Harding muttered. Ellie thought of her grandfather's lessons. Flush him out, she said. She aimed at a loose rock formation
Tell me
near the
what you
shooter.
saw.
Her next shot struck the rocks.
I've told you
Debris
everything,
cascaded down. The shooter shifted to avoid the falling stones. He exposed himself. Just enough. Ellie's final shot found its mark. The shooter collapsed. Clear. Harding confirmed. Saber lead. Eastern shooters neutralized. Extract immediately. Well, cover your withdrawal. As Davies and his team moved their wounded, Ellie scanned the ridges. She looked for Victor Koslov. The sniper had vanished. HGS gone, Harding said, but he'll be back. This isn't over. Ellie nodded. She understood. Today she had become a hunter, and she had made herself the hunted. Victor Koslov would not forget the woman who had wounded him. The sound of medevac helicopters filled the air. Ellie packed her equipment. Her hands moved with practice. Her mind raced. She had gone from a stores minus basher to a combat sniper. She had taken lives. She had saved lives. She had stepped into her grandfather's world, a world he had tried to prepare her for and protect her from. Somewhere out there, a wounded Victor Koslov was planning his next move. What happens now? She asked. They prepared to return to the base. Harding's face was sullen. He looked at the battlefield below. Now we get ready for a war. Mouse. The kind they don't teach you in basic training. He turned to face her. His eyes showed pride and regret. The real question is, are you ready for what comes next? Ellie thought of her grandfather's journal, of his lessons. She thought of Lieutenant Davies and his men. They would be dead if she had not acted. I was born ready, she replied. She slung the rifle over her shoulder. They began the long walk back to the Jackal. Grandpa made sure of that. The briefing room at FOB Griffin was silent. Ellie Vance and Captain Jack Harding entered. Lieutenant Davies and his surviving men sat at a table. Their faces were tired, angry. The empty chairs were reminders of the wounded. Base Commander Colonel Patricia Sharma stood at the head of the table. Her expression was hard to read. She gestured for Ellie and Harding to sit. Let's get one thing straight, Sharma began. Her voice was calm, but there was steel in it. What happened today was a catastrophic intelligence failure and an unprecedented success. We walked into a trap. But thanks to unorthodox actions, we did not lose an entire SAS squadron. Her gaze shifted to Ellie. Private Vance, you directly disobeyed orders. You took up a sniper position without authorization. Normally, that would mean a court-martial. Ellie sat straight. Her face was calm. However, Sharma continued, these are not normal circumstances. Lieutenant Davies has informed me that your actions saved his entire squadron. 3 confirmed hostile snipers eliminated. You wounded a 4th. We now believe he was Victor Koslov. Based on blood samples from the scene, Davies looked up. He met Ellie's gaze. The arrogance was gone. There was respect and wounded pride. You were right about the ambush, she said. It was hard for him to say. If you and Captain Harding hadn't shown up, he did not finish the sentence. Uno Sharma tapped the file. Captain Harding has filled me in on the background. Koslov, father and son. And the connection to your grandfather, Private Vance. She paused. She studied Ellie. What I need to know now is how a logistics soldier with no formal sniper training managed to outshoot professional killers at ranges over 800 meters. The room was silent. All eyes were on Ellie. My grandfather was William Vance, Mom. Former SAS. Later MI6. Ellie's voice was steady. He raised me. He taught me to shoot, hunting at first, but later, other skills. She glanced at Harding. He nodded. Captain Harding served with my grandfather during the Cold War. They were part of a special unit, targeting Soviet assets in Europe. She paused, including Ivan Koslov, Victor's father. Colonel Sharma's eyebrows rose. And you believe Victor Koslov is now continuing a vendetta? The evidence supports it, Harding said. The trap was too elaborate. The positioning of the snipers, the terrain, it all matches Ivan Koslov's tactics, documented in William Vance's field notes. Victor has studied his father's methods. Sharma considered this. Her fingers drummed on the table. So, we have a highly trained enemy sniper in our area. one with a personal motivation to target British forces, specifically forces connected to Private Vance. Yes, Harding confirmed. Sharma turned to Lieutenant Davies. And your assessment of Vance's performance? Davies shifted. Exceptional, he admitted. 3 shots, 3 kills. At extreme range, under combat conditions, and a 4th shot that wounded Koslov, a target using advanced concealment. Most qualified snipers couldn't have done better. Colonel Sharma was silent. She weighed her options. Private Vance, she said finally. I'm temporarily reassigning you to Special Operations Support. Effective immediately. You'll work directly with Captain Harding to track and neutralize the Koslov threat. She raised a hand. This is highly irregular. Tetsuo is having a Russian assassin with a personal vendetta in our area of operations. Ali felt relief and fear. Thank you. Yunnan. Don't thank me yet, Sharma replied. If Koslov is targeting you, I'm putting you directly in harm's way. But it is better to confront this threat than to wait for him to strike again. The meeting ended. Davies approached Ellie outside. I owe you an apology, Vance, he said. I dismissed your concerns. It nearly got my team killed. Ellie nodded. She accepted the apology. Davies studied her. Where did you learn to shoot like that? Your grandfather was good and sure. But what you did today, he shook his head. My grandfather used to say that shooting isn't just about aim. Ellie replied quietly. It's about patience, understanding the wind, the distance, how the earth curves beneath your bullet. She met Davies' gaze. About respecting that when you pull that trigger. You're making a choice that can't be undone. Respect crossed Davies' face. You'll need a spotter. If you're going after Koslov, someone who knows the terrain, who understands special operations. Be volunteering. Lieutenant? Davies almost smiled. My squadron is down to men. We're grounded until replacements arrive. So yeah, maybe I am. Ellie nodded. The alliance was a surprise, but hunting Victor Koslov would require help. That night, the adrenaline wore off. Ellie was shaking. She sank onto her bunk. She replayed each shot, each life she had taken. In the battle, there was no time for doubt. It was a mechanical process. Acquire targets, calculate variables, squeeze the trigger. Now, in the quiet, the weight of it settled on her. 3 men were dead, by her hand. She had not hesitated. Her grandfather had taught her well. Duel, perhaps. Ellie reached for William Vance's journal. She looked for solace, for wisdom.
I think I see it.
She found a passage she had not seen before. There's a cost to what we do. Each shot taken exacts a price from the shooter, as surely as from the target. Some say you lose a piece of your soul. I don't know about souls, but I know about the weight. The invisible burden that grows heavier with each trigger pull. You carry that weight forever. The trick is learning to stand straight despite it. Ellie closed her eyes. She felt that weight in her bones. She slept. Her dreams were full of crossers and falling bodies, and a shadow with Victor Koslov's face, watching from distant ridges. Dawn broke. A helicopter landed on the base. Ellie watched from the barracks. A man got out. He was in his 50s. Salt and pepper hair. The weathered face of someone who had spent decades in harsh places. Mark Sharma, Harding said. He stood beside her. MI6. Special Operations. Patricia Sharma's ex-minus husband. And one of the service's top analysts on Russian operations. Ellie looked at him. The colonel called in her ex-minus husband. When it comes to national security, Sharma puts personal feelings aside, Harding explained. Mark is the expert on the Koslov network. If anyone can help, it's him. An hour later, they were in a secure briefing room. Ellie, Harding, Davies, Colonel Sharma, and the MI6 operative. Mark Sharma moved like a man who spent more time at a desk than in the field.
Ivan.
But his eyes were sharp, intelligent, wary. Victor Koslov, he began. He placed a file on the table. Born 1973rd, Moscow. His father was Ivan Koslov, KGB, Department 13th, their assassination division. Victor joined Spetsnaz at 18. Then FSB Special Operations. He spread surveillance photos on the table. Adol, powerful man, cold eyes, a thin scar on his left eyebrow. In 2003, he went off the grid. Surfaced again in 2007, a freelance operator. Chechnya, Georgia. Since then, HES worked for anyone with enough money. Marked up the photo. Koslov in desert camouflage. He has eliminated at least 17 high-minus value targets, most at extreme ranges. His longest confirmed kill was 1640 meters, in crosswinds over 15 knots. He looked up. His gaze settled on Ellie. Until yesterday, no one had ever landed a shot on him. HL went through Ellie, so now him a trophy he needs to claim him. Worse, Mark replied. Based on our intelligence, the man you eliminated yesterday was just a spotter. It was Alexei Koslov, Victor's younger brother. The room was silent. The blood left Ellie's face. "You're saying I killed his brother?" she whispered. Mark nodded, making this very personal for him. "Victor was already hunting you because of your connection to William Vance. Now," he spread his hands. "So, what's our next move?" Davies asked. Harding leaned forward. "They take the fight to him. Koslov is wounded. It will slow him down. We need to track him before he regroups." Mark shook his head. Going after Victor Koslov in his own territory is suicide. He knows these mountains. He has fallback positions. So, we just wait for him to come after Ellie again? Davies demanded. "No," Mark said. "We prepare Ellie to face him on equal terms." All eyes turned to Ellie. She straightened. "What are you suggesting?" "Catterick," Mark said. "The special operations sniper course. Normally, it takes months to get a slot, but I've made some calls. They're expecting you next week." Ellie blinked. "Sniper school? It's what you need," Harding said. "You have natural talent, but Koslov has decades of professional experience. To beat him, you need every advantage." Colonel Sharma nodded. "Consider it done. Private Vance will be temporarily assigned to Catterick for accelerated sniper training. You leave tomorrow. Make the most of it. Lives depend on it." The meeting ended. Harding pulled Ellie aside. "There's something else," he said quietly. "Mark didn't tell the whole story. After you wounded Koslov yesterday, we found something at his abandoned position." He handed her a small, weathered photograph. Ellie looked at the image. A young woman stood beside an older man in a military uniform. She recognized her grandfather, decades younger, and beside him. "That's my mother," she whispered. Harding nodded grimly. "Taken in Berlin. 1983rd. Koslov has been tracking your family for longer than you have been alive, Ellie. This isn't just about you. Or William. This is about erasing the Vance line." Ellie stared at the photograph, her mother's smiling face. The mother she barely remembered. She had died with her father. A car crash. It had been ruled an accident. Was their death really an accident? She asked. Harding's silence was the answer. Catterick Garrison sprawled across the North Yorkshire landscape. The training grounds stretched for miles under a grey sky. Ellie stood in a line of 30-1 other candidates. 30 men, 1 other woman. Regimental Sergeant Major Michael Shaw paced before them. His face was a perpetual scowl. "Look to your left," he barked. His voice carried across the yard. "Now look to your right. By the end of this course, at least one of those people won't be here. Possibly both." He stopped in front of Ellie. His eyes narrowed. Private Vance, he said. His voice was loud. Our special guest
Do you see anything?
came here on an
Yes.
MI6 recommendation. Tell me, Private, do you think that makes you special? Do you think him going to go easy on you? Ellie met his gaze.
No, Omega.
No, Sergeant Major. Good answer. Shaw replied. His scowl did not soften, because I don't care who sent you. In my course, everyone earns their place, or they wash out. Am I clear? Crystal clear. Sergeant Major. Shaw continued his pacing. This course is not about teaching you to shoot. If you can't shoot, you don't belong here. This course is about turning shooters into hunters. Predators. He gestured to the grounds beyond. Over the next 6 weeks, you will learn to become invisible, to read the wind, to calculate complex ballistics in your head while lying motionless for 12 hours in freezing rain, to make shots most people would consider impossible. His gaze swept over them. Someone somewhere believes you have what it takes. My job is to find out if they were right. He dismissed them. Ellie felt the stares of the
Even.
other candidates. Most were curious.
He's here.
Some were skeptical. One, a tall Royal Marines Colors sergeant named Mark Jones, offered a friendly nod. They were assigned to the same training squad. Don't mind Shaw, Jones said quietly. They stowed their gear. He treats everyone like that. By week 3, if you're still
Items
here,
direct
I'll
involvement
know
in
your
agents
name.
confirmed.
Ellie smiled a
We have
small
actionable
smile.
intelligence
I'm not
regarding
worried
his
about Shaw. I'm worried about keeping up with you lot. She gestured to the other candidates. Most were much bigger than her.
Understood, sir.
Jones shrugged. This isn't everything in this game.
He's hiding something.
I've seen big lads wash out.
I'm
They
certain
held it
of
lie still,
I know,
or
but
they
we have
flinched.
to be careful.
His confidence was reassuring,
We're in position.
but Ellie knew what was at stake. The other candidates were here to
Keep
advance
your
their
eyes peeled.
careers. She was here because a killer was hunting her. A killer she had to stop. The first week was brutal.
It must go out tonight.
Each day began at 430, punishing physical training. 5-mile runs in full gear. Crawling through mud. Hours of stress positions. Shaw pushed them relentlessly. He paid special attention to Ellie. He gave her the heaviest pack. He criticized her technique more harshly. He seemed determined to find her breaking point. Do you think this is hard, Vance? He shouted. She struggled through her 50th push minus up. Her arms trembled. Try holding your position for 18
I had a
hours
feeling he'd make
while monsoon rains soak you. Try maintaining your aim while your muscles are cramping. That's what real snipers do. Alec gritted her teeth. She continued. She refused to quit.
Status report.
Each night she collapsed onto her bunk. She was exhausted. She reviewed everything she had learned.
Sir,
She
I think I've
watched.
found something.
She analyzed. She
It's
adapted.
Brainstorm, near the Summit Hall.
Like her grandfather had taught her. By the end of the first week, 3 candidates had dropped out. Ellie remained. She had earned a grudging respect from her peers, and a slightly less hostile or SM Shaw. The second week was field craft, the art of moving undetected, constructing hides, using natural camouflage. Here, Ellie's size was an advantage. She was good at creating minimal disturbance. Her hide positions were among the best.
Status update.
During one exercise, they had to make a ghillie suit. They had to remain undetected while instructors searched for them. Ellie was the last candidate found. She earned her first nod of approval from Shaw. Not bad, Vance, he admitted. Your grandfather taught you well. Ellie looked up. You knew my grandfather? Shaw's face softened. William Vance. Yeah, I knew him. He was my first sniper instructor. Back when I was a green recruit. Not much older than you. A rare smile crossed his face. Toughest bastard I ever met, but the best shooter too. Could put 5 rounds through the same hole at 800 meters. Ellie felt pride and loss. He never mentioned teaching a cataract. You wouldn't have. Shaw replied. It was official. A special arrangement between certain agencies. He gave her a knowing look. Your grandfather moved in classified circles, Private. Just like the man who's hunting you now. Ellie stared at him. You know about Koslov? Shaw nodded. Captain Harding briefed me before you arrived. Why do you think I've been riding you so hard? You're not here to earn a qualification, Vance. You're here to learn how to stay alive. His voice dropped. And how to end a threat that's been hanging over your family for decades. The training intensified. Ellie developed a bond with Mark Jones. He was her designated spotter. He complemented her shooting skills with his knowledge of ballistics. Ellie relied on instinct. Jones approached sniping as a science.
Are we good to go?
Wind shifting, he murmured during one exercise. They were prone in tall grass. 2 o'clock. About 7 knots. It's going to push your shot about 3 inches left. We made the adjustment. She squeezed the trigger on her exhale. The round struck exactly where she had aimed. Jones whistled softly. How do you do that? The math says that shot should have drifted more. I don't just calculate the wind. Ellie explained quietly. I feel it. The way it's moving across the grass. The way it changes direction through those trees. My grandfather called it reading the invisible rivers of air. Jones shook his head. They can teach the science.
Oh no, this changes everything.
What you've got can't be taught. By the 3rd week, there were 20 minus 5 candidates. The training was precision shooting under stress. Instructors exhausted them with physical challenges. Then they put them in shooting scenarios. After a 10-mile forced march with 35 kg packs, Ellie and the others set up on a windswept ridge. The targets were from 400 to 1200 meters. Artificial sound generators created battlefield noise. Instructors doused them with water. 1 round per target, Shaw announced. Miss once, you're done for the day. Miss twice. You're done with the course. Ellie settled into position. Her muscles screamed. Her hands were numb from the cold water. She forced herself to focus, to find the place of perfect calm her grandfather had taught her. Her first shot was dead center, so was her second, and her third. By her 5th perfect shot, even Shaw looked
Ellie, are you
impressed.
all right?
That night, the stress caught up with her. She woke gasping for breath. Her sheets were soaked. The images from her nightmare were vivid. Victor Koslov standing over her parents' red car. Alexei Koslov's face as her bullet struck him. She went outside. The night was clear. Stars were scattered across the sky. She sat on a concrete barrier. She tried to steady her breathing. Nightmares. The voice came from behind her. It was Shaw. He had a mug of tea. Ellie nodded. He was too tired to deny it. Shaw sat beside her. It'd be worried if you weren't having them, he said. Taking a life changes you. Taking multiple lives, he shrugged. Let's just say it questioned the humanity of anyone who could do it without consequence. My grandfather used to wake up screaming sometimes, Ellie admitted.
Where are you going,
He
Koslov?
never talked about it.
None of your concern.
But I heard him.
Lieutenant.
Names I didn't know. Apologizing over and over. Sean nodded. The weight never goes away.
Little soldier.
You just learn to carry it better. He took a sip of his tea. But here's what your grandfather might not have told you. That weight also keeps you human. The day it stops bothering you is the day you become something else. Something dangerous. He turned to look at her. I've been watching you. Vance. You're technically brilliant. The most naturally gifted shooter I've seen since your grandfather. But what sets you apart isn't your aim. It's your restraint. The way you think before you pull the trigger. Is that enough against someone like Koslov? Koslov is a predator. Sure applied. Skilled.
Never.
Patient. Ruthless. But HES missing something. What's that? A conscience, Shaw said simply. He kills because he enjoys it. You kill because you have to. To protect others. Don't underestimate the power of that difference, Vance. It might be your greatest advantage. As he walked away, he called over his shoulder. 500 tomorrow. Extreme distance shooting. Bring your A- game. The following weeks were a blur of difficult challenges. Long minus range stalking. Night shooting. Hostage scenarios. Ellie continued to excel. Her partnership with Jones strengthened. They consistently outperformed the other teams. During their downtime, Jones would share stories of his deployments as a Marine, Ellie told him about growing up in the Highlands, about hunting with her grandfather. Your grandfather sounds like quite a man, Jones remarked one evening. They cleaned their rifles. He was, Ellie agreed. Tough but fair. Jones nodded. Military family then? Ellie hesitated. Not just military. After the SAS, my grandfather worked for other government agencies. Operations that never made it into the records. I-6, Jones said. He saw her surprised look. He shrugged. It's not hard to put together. The special treatment you're getting. The accelerated training. Something big is going on. Ellie made a decision. What I'm about to tell you is classified. Jones set down his cleaning rod. He gave her his full attention. Understood. Ellie explained everything. Her grandfather's history with Ivan Koslov. The attack on the SAS squadron. Her killing of Alexei Koslov. Victor's vendetta against her family. Jones listened without interruption. So, that's why you're here, he said finally. You're preparing for a specific mission. Eliminating Victor Koslov before he eliminates you. Ellie nodded. And I have about 3 more weeks to learn everything I need. Before I go back to Afghanistan to face him. Jones was quiet. Then he picked up his cleaning rod. Well, he said casually, in that case, we'd better make sure you graduate top of the class, hadn't we? Ellie smiled. She was grateful for his support. I suppose we should. The final week was a comprehensive field exercise. A 5-day mission. They had to infiltrate a simulated hostile territory. Locate and eliminate targets. Without being detected. Ellie and Jones were dropped at the edge of a wooded training area. They had minimal equipment. Their rifles. Enough food and water for 3 days.
Congratulations,
It was a 5-day exercise.
Thank you, sir.
Basic navigation tools. Their ghillie suits.
Vance,
Their mission was simple. Eliminate 5 targets across 20 square kilometers of rough terrain. Then get to an extraction point. They're testing our shooting. And our ability to make decisions under pressure, Jones observed. They set up their first hide. Ellie studied the map. If we move along this ridge, we can set up overlapping firing positions, covering 3 of the 5 targets. It minimizes our movement. For the next 3 days, they executed their plan. They moved only at night. They set up hides during the day. They systematically eliminated 4 of their 5 targets. Their final objective was an instructor, a high-value enemy commander. He was in the most heavily defended area. This is the real test, Jones whispered. They observed the compound from 800 meters away. They've got at least 8 instructors down there. Constant patrols, sensor equipment. No way to get closer. Ellie studied the layout. Then we don't get closer. We take the shot from here. Jones looked at her. 800 meters? In these winds? With a target that's only visible for 10 seconds at a time?
William.
That's pushing it. Vance. Then, we only need 1 shot. Ellie replied calmly. They settled into wait. By the evening of the 4th day, their target had a pattern. He came out of the main building every 2 hours. Next appearance should be at 2200. Jones murmured. He checked his watch. Wind's picking up though. It's going to be a tough shot. Ellie closed her eyes. She felt the air on her skin. She listened to the wind in the trees. When she opened her eyes, she was determined. I can make it, she said. As 2200 approached, they prepared. Jones set up his spotting scope. He whispered readings to Ellie. She made minute adjustments. Target's coming out, Jones breathed. Wind steady at 7 knots. Slight quartering from 4 o'clock. Ellie settled into her position. She controlled her breathing. Through her scope, she tracked the instructor. He walked toward the assembled patrol leaders. Time slowed. In her mind, she saw not the instructor, but Victor Koslov. Her finger tightened on the trigger. The rifle barked. The target dropped. A simulation round hit him in the center of his chest. Hit! Jones confirmed. Perfect shot. Now, let's get the hell out of here before they... His words stopped. A twig snapped behind them. They both froze. They did not move. They barely breathed. The sound came again. Closer. Deliberate footsteps. Ellie's heart pounded. Had the instructors flanked them? Slowly, she shifted her gaze. She did not move her head. At the edge of her vision, she saw movement. A shadow detached itself from the deeper darkness. The shadow paused. It seemed to study their position. Then it moved again. It circled their location. We've been compromised, Jones breathed. His lips barely moved. Instructor must have been tracking us. The movement pattern was wrong. This shadow moved with a different intent. It observed them with a cold calculation. A terrible certainty gripped her.
We do not have it.
That's not an instructor, she whispered. Before Jones could respond, the shadow melted back into the forest.
Koslov's death changed
What the hell was that? Jones finally asked. A cold dread settled in Ellie's stomach. I think we just had a visitor, she replied. Someone very interested in watching how I shoot. Koslov. Jones' disbelief was in his whisper. Here, on a secure military base, if he could infiltrate a FOB in Afghanistan, Catterick wouldn't be impossible. Ellie began to pack their equipment. We need to complete the exercise and report this. Their extraction was smooth. By dawn, they had completed their mission. The instructors praised their performance. They were the top team. Ellie was distracted. She thought about the shadow in the forest. After the debriefing, she found her SM Shaw. She reported what had happened. Shaw's reaction was immediate. He ordered a full security sweep of the training area. He placed the base on heightened alert. That afternoon,
This is bad.
Ellie was in a secure room with Shaw, the base commander, and two men in civilian clothes. They were from MI5. We found footprints, one of the agents reported. Professional operator. They disappear at the perimeter fence. Packed clean through. Koslov, Ellie said. Sean nodded. Looks that way. HES tracking you, Vance. Studying you. Learning how you operate. But why risk it? Just to watch me during training? Because that's how predators hunt. Shaw replied. His face was grave. They study their prey. Learn patterns. Identify weaknesses. Koslov isn't just trying to kill you. HES preparing to outshoot you. And HES confident enough to risk infiltrating the UK military base to do it. The MI5 agents exchanged glances. We're implementing additional security, one said. And we recommend accelerating Private Vance's graduation and return to Afghanistan. If Koslov is this bold, he might strike before she completes her training. Shaw shook his head. Vance's training is already complete. Shas passed every test. Shas outperformed candidates with years more experience. He looked at Ellie. You're a ready private. As ready as we can make you. That evening, Ellie packed her gear. She was deploying back to Afghanistan. Jones appeared at her barracks door. Just heard the news. He said, You're shipping out tonight. Ellie nodded. Orders came through an hour ago. Transport leaves at 2300. Jones watched her. He straightened. I'm coming with you. Ellie looked up. Why? I've been temporarily assigned to your operation, Jones explained. As your spotter, orders came through right after they found the perimeter breach. He shrugged. What? You think I'm going to let you face this Koslov character without proper backup? We're a team now, Vance. For the first time in days, Ellie felt a spark of hope. Thanks, Jones, she said. He nodded. Just doing my job. Besides, he added with a small smile, someone's got to keep you from getting too cocky with that rifle of yours. The transport plane carried them through the night, back toward Afghanistan. Ellie stared out the window at the darkness. Somewhere out there, Victor Koslov was waiting. A hunter was becoming the hunted, a predator facing another predator. But she was not alone. She had Jones at her side. Harding and Davies waited at the base, and her grandfather's legacy guided her hand. She had something Koslov would never understand. A reason to fight beyond revenge. Ellie closed her eyes. Her grandfather's voice was in her memory. The best shot isn't always the one you take, Ellie. Sometimes it's the one you wait for. The perfect moment when everything aligns. And you know, this is why you were put on this earth. That moment was coming. She could feel it. The final confrontation with Victor Koslov, a reckoning decades in the making. She was ready. The mountains of Afghanistan were harsh, unforgiving. The pre-minus dawn light cast long shadows across FOB Griffin. Ellie and Jones got off the helicopter. Captain Jack Harding waited on the tarmac. His face was tight with concern. Beside him stood Lieutenant Davies. He looked different, more subdued. A new scar traced a path from his temple to his jaw. "Welcome back," Harding said. He clasped Ellie's hand. "Glad to see cataract didn't break you." Ellie managed a tired smile. "Not for lack of trying, sir." She gestured to Jones. "This is Colors Sergeant Mark Jones, my spotter." Harding nodded. "Good to have you." "Hello, Sergeant. We need all the help we can get." His expression grew grim. "The situation has evolved." They walked toward the command center. Harding briefed them. "We've had 3 more sniper attacks. All have Koslov's signature. Extreme range. Perfect execution. The targets were chosen for maximum psychological impact." "Casualties?" Ellie asked quietly. Davies answered. His voice was tight. 7 dead. For British, 3 Afghan army, including Major Ali Rahman, the local Afghan commander. Ali felt the weight of responsibility. "And Koslov, any sign?" "Only what he wants us to see." Harding replied. "Intel indicates HES operating out of the eastern mountain ranges, near the Pakistani border. Remote terrain. Abandoned villages and caves from the Soviet era." They entered the command center. Colonel Sharma was waiting. With a grim menace faced Mark Sharma. The MI6 analyst had set up an intelligence operation. Maps covered the walls. Satellite images were on the tables. Private Vance. Colonel Sharma greeted her. "I hear you topped your class at Catterick." RSM Shah sent a glowing report. "I had good motivation." Ellie replied. Mark Sharma stepped forward. "We've been building a comprehensive profile of Koslov's operations. Movement patterns, supply lines, possible support networks." He tapped a map. "High remote valley between high peaks. We believe his primary base is somewhere in this region, approximately 40 kilometers east of us." Ellie studied the map. The terrain was challenging. "What about his network, Red Storm?" Mark nodded. "We've confirmed it exists. A loose coalition of former Soviet intelligence operatives and their descendants. They maintain a shadow network across Central Asia, mostly arms trafficking and mercenary operations, but with a persistent anti-Western agenda." He glanced at Harding, and a fixation on eliminating certain former MI6 assets and their families, like my grandfather, Ellie said. "And now me." "Exactly," Mark agreed. "But there's more." He pulled a file from his briefcase. He spread photographs on the table. 3 days ago, a drone captured these images. Ellie leaned forward. She studied the aerial shots. A small convoy moved through a mountain pass. "Supply run? Look closer." Mark urged. He pointed to one of the vehicles, to what it was transporting. Ali squinted. Her blood ran cold. The vehicle was carrying components for a weapons system. She recognized it from her rating. "Is that a Kornet anti-stank missile system?" she asked. Mark nodded. "Russian made. Latest generation. Capable of penetrating the armor of any vehicle we have. But more importantly," he paused. "Intelligence suggests Koslov's group plans to use it during the upcoming Remembrance Day ceremony at Camp Bastion." The room was silent. Ceremony was in 3 days. High-ranking officers, diplomats, Afghan officials. They target rich environment, Davies said quietly. Hundreds of potential casualties. Colonel Sharma straightened. Her decision was made. This is no longer just about Koslov's vendetta against Private Vance. This is an imminent threat. It must be neutralized. She turned to Ellie. "I'm authorizing a direct action mission. Locate and eliminate Victor Koslov and his network." before they can execute their attack. Ellie nodded. The responsibility settled on her. One more thing, Mark added. He slid a final photograph across the table.
Negative,
It
Lieutenant.
showed a man in his 50s, speaking with what appeared to be Koslov. We've identified a potential mole, Colonel Dmitry Baronov, officially a Russian military attaché in Kabul, with suspected ties to former KGB networks. Harding leaned closer. He studied the image. He would have access to our operational plans. Exactly. Mark confirmed, which means we can't use standard protocols for this mission. No official briefings. No regular comms. No support from conventional forces. Colonel Sharma's expression was stone. This operation does not exist. Officially, you'll be on a routine reconnaissance patrol. Unofficially, she let the words hang. You're on her own. Ellie finished. Not entirely, Davies interjected.
Oh,
My
no.
squadron is still down to men. The rest of us are operational. Well back your play, Vance. Ellie glanced at him. There was new respect in his eyes. Small team. Maximum deniability. Harding nodded. Better odds. Colonel Sharma concluded the briefing. You have 40-8 hours. Locate and eliminate Koslov. Before that missile can be deployed. Whatever it takes. This threat ends now. The meeting dispersed. Harding pulled Ellie and Jones aside. There's something else you need to see, he said. He led them to a secured storage area. He unlocked a heavy cabinet. It revealed a sleek black rifle case. This arrived yesterday, Harding explained.
Yes, all of
He
them
opened the
more
case.
dangerous than we thought.
A precision rifle was inside. Ellie did not recognize
Much
it.
further to the hub.
A custom Minus-built system, cutting Minus-edge optics, courtesy of some old friends at Vauxhall
Charges are
Cross.
set.
They
Let's
remembered your grandfather. Ellie lifted the rifle. It was perfectly balanced. What is this? A 915A3, but heavily modified. Harding explained. Carbon fiber barrel. Custom trigger.
We've got it.
Advanced ballistic computer integrated with the scope. He handed her a box of ammunition. And these, experimental rounds. Polymer minus-tip projectiles. Greater accuracy at extreme ranges. Ellie checked the weapon. Its unique features. This changes things, she said softly. With this,
Understood.
I can engage targets beyond 1500 meters,
A shadow
which
across
means you can take
everything.
Koslov before he knows you're either. Jones observed. Harding
Keep
nodded.
your grip firm,
His expression
but
was
don't
solemn.
tense up.
That's the plan. But remember,
Control is key
Koslov
for
has spent
accuracy.
decades perfecting his craft. He'll have countermeasures, backup plans. He looked at Ellie. This isn't
Target
just
acquired.
about being the better shot, Vance. It's about outsmarting a predator in his own territory. They prepared to
visual.
depart. Jones
Target
pulled
is in the
Ellie
crowd.
aside. I did some digging into those Red Storm files, he said quietly. There's something about Koslov's background that doesn't add up. What do you mean? According to official records,
Extraction point now.
Ivan Koslov died in 1989. Car accident outside Moscow. Jones glanced around. But there's a gap in Victor's history. Almost 3 years in the mid-90s. Where he
It
disappeared
appears that
completely.
Orlov's plan is to
No
destabilize
records,
governments.
no sightings. You think his father might still be alive? Ellie asked. A chill went down her
Operates across
spine.
3 continents.
Jones shrugged. Him saying we might be dealing with more than just Victor. The Redstone network goes deeper than anyone's admitting. Ellie absorbed this. Another piece of the puzzle. We stick to the mission. She decided. Find Koslov. Whichever Koslov it is. And end this. 4 more people die. Under cover of darkness, their small team departed FOB Griffin. 2 unmarked vehicles. Ellie and Jones in the lead, followed by
Orlov's
Harding,
operatives have
Davies,
successful
and 3 of his
infiltrated Western
SAS operators. They traveled without lights. They used night vision. They pushed deep into territory where
feels
British
endless.
forces rarely went. By dawn,
does.
they had a forward operating position, an abandoned shepherd's hut, high on a mountainside. It had commanding views of the valley,
stop
where intel
Orlov
suggested
before the
Koslov
storm
was
swallows
based.
the world.
The SAS secured the perimeter. Ellie and Jones set up their observation post. They scanned the terrain below. Hours passed. Tense silence. They mapped possible hiding spots. Escape routes.
Confirmed.
Defenses. The valley was a natural fortress. Steep slopes on 3 sides. A narrow entrance. If I were hiding a missile system, it put it there, Jones murmured. He pointed to a cluster of abandoned buildings. Natural cover. Clear line of sight. Multiple escape routes. Ellie nodded. She marked the location on their map. Through her scope, she searched for signs of human activity. Disturbed earth. Unusual movement. Anything out of place. Near midday, she spotted something. The glint of metal. From a cave entrance. High on the opposite slope. Quickly hidden. Possible OP, she reported quietly. 2 o'clock. Approximately 900 meters. Cave entrance beneath the split rock formation. Jones adjusted his spotting scope. Confirmed. Someone's up there. Professional setup.
We need to move fast.
Ellie felt it. The sensation of being watched by a fellow predator. That's their counter-minus sniper, she said. Positioned to cover the valley. Harding joined them. He studied the location through his binoculars. Can you take him from here? Ellie considered the shot, the range, the crosswinds, the minimal target. Negative. Not enough exposure. We need to flank the position. Approach from above. Davies nodded. My squadron can create a diversion at the valley entrance. Draw their attention while you 3 maneuver. The plan came together. Davies and his men would stage a noisy reconnaissance patrol. Meanwhile, Ellie, Jones, and Harding would climb the ridge. They would approach the enemy OP from an unexpected angle. As dusk approached, they moved. The climb was grueling, nearly vertical in places. Ellie's lungs burned. Her muscles protested. She pushed forward. The weight of her rifle was a constant reminder. They reached their firing position as darkness fell. A small outcropping above the cave. Below them, Davies' team began their diversion. Vehicle engines echoed through the valley. Target is active,
What is all
Jones
this?
whispered. He observed through his night vision scope. Single individual. Male. Using a Russian -VD rifle. With thermal optics focused on Davies' position. Ellie settled into her stance. She adjusted the advanced scope on her new rifle. Through the thermal imaging, she saw the heat signature of the enemy sniper. A ghostly white figure. Range 120 meters. Steep downward angle. Jones continued. No significant wind. Ellie calculated this at the steep angle. Her fingers settled on the trigger. Wait, Harding whispered urgently. Don't take the shot. This is too easy. Ellie froze. What do you mean? Hassel OV is too smart to leave his security this vulnerable, Harding explained. This feels like. His words were cut short. A sharp crack from somewhere to their right. Something slammed into the rock near Ellie's head. Stone fragments showered her. All 3 dropped flat. Sniper. Jones hissed. 10 o'clock. Different position. He was waiting for us. Ellie's mind raced. The observer below was bait, to draw them into a trap. Somewhere on the adjacent ridge. The real threat was now targeting them. He'll draw his fire, Harding decided. You 2 find the shooter and take him out. Before they could protest, he was moving, exposing himself for a split second, rolling to new cover. Another shot rang out. It struck where Harding had been. The muzzle flash briefly lit a position on the opposite ridge, just enough for Ellie to get a bearing. I have his approximate position, she whispered to Jones. Range about 600 meters. Elevation slightly above us. Behind that rock shaped like a thumb. Jones was already adjusting his scope. I see it. No thermal signature. He must be using a heat shield. Ellie recalibrated her rifle. Her mind was cool, focused. This was what she had trained for. I duel with an opponent who matched her
London.
skills. I'll be relocating, she predicted.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Standard
Prepare for
procedure.
impact.
Jones nodded. 3 likely movement directions. Most probable is rightward. Toward that cluster of boulders. Better cover. Ellie adjusted her aim. She watched the likely path through her scope. For several long minutes, nothing moved.
Agreed.
The night was still.
Their
Then a
intel
shadow
suggests a
shifted,
converging pattern.
barely perceptible. A figure moving with extraordinary stealth. Between cover, exactly as Jones had predicted. Target acquired, Ellie breathed.
Do you see the mark?
Sundered. Jones confirmed. Ellie's rifle barked. The sound echoed across the valley, through her scope. Oh. She saw the shadow figure jerk and fall. Then the figure rolled smoothly behind cover. Wounded. Still dangerous. Hit, but not down, Jones reported. Left shoulder. HES mobile. Ellie reoriented. She tried to predict his next move. The radio crackled. Davies. Urgent. Multiple hostiles emerging from the valley. Heavily armed. He stirred up the hornet's nest. Harding rejoined them. We need to move. Now. That shooter will have called for backup. They began their retreat. Ellie made a decision. You to go. Link up with Davies. I'm going after the shooter. Absolutely not. Harding objected. We don't split up. That shooter is Koslov. Ellie insisted. I wounded him. HES on the move. Vulnerable. This might be our only chance. Jones looked between them. He made his decision. I'm staying with Vance. That's my job.
Oh no.
Harding wanted to argue. The sound of approaching vehicles settled it. You've got 2 hours, he conceded. Then we come looking
Just
for you.
focus.
Stay on comms. Harding disappeared into the darkness. Ellie and Jones began their approach, toward where the wounded shooter had disappeared. How do you know it's Koslov? Jones asked. Movement pattern. Ellie explained. Exactly like my grandfather described. And the tactics. Using a decoy. Positioning himself at extreme range. Anticipating our route. She paused. Only Koslov would have that level of patience and tactical awareness. They tracked the wounded sniper through the darkness, following occasional blood droplets. The trail led them higher, toward a ridge with commanding views. HES heading for a pre-minus established fallback position. Jones surmised. Emma nodded. She moved with caution. The blood
on
trail was
target.
more pronounced. Koslov's wound was serious, but not enough to stop him. They found his fallback position as dawn began. A small, natural cave. A narrow entrance, perfectly positioned. Blood smeared the rocks near the entrance. HES definitely injured, Jones said. Losing enough blood to affect performance, but still dangerous. He glanced at Ellie. How do you want to play this? Ellie considered their options. Salting the cave was suicide. Waiting him out was not viable. Their deadline was ticking away. We need to draw him out, she decided. Or at least confirm his position.
Not again.
Jones nodded. I have an idea. He removed his helmet. He raised it slightly above a rock. The response was immediate. A single shot. It struck the helmet, sent it flying. Jones ducked, a grim smile on his face. Confirmed. Active shooter. Still has enough strength for accurate shots. Ellie had a plan. I need you to work your way around to the left flank. There's a position 50 meters up. It overlooks the cave entrance. It'll keep him focused on this location. Jones looked dubious. You're talking about a crossfire. That's risky. It's our best option. Ellie insisted. I'll maintain position here. Make him think we're both pinned down. You get the elevated angle. Wait for my signal. Jones agreed. He moved off. Ellie settled in behind her cover. The sky lightened, bringing visibility and exposure. She could see the cave entrance. A dark flash in the rock face. Her radio crackled softly. In position, Jones reported. Clear view of the cave entrance. No visual on target. Hold position. Ellie instructed. I'm going to try something. She arranged her pack and jacket to create a human-minus shaped silhouette. Behind a rock 10 meters to her right, she used a branch. She slowly raised the decoy. Another shot rang out. It struck the decoy. Ellie noted the accuracy, the angle of impact, and the muzzle flash from within the cave. Now she had his exact firing position. Did you see it? She asked Jones quietly. No. Affirmative. Shooter is just inside the entrance. Left side. Behind a rock barricade. Minimal exposure. Ellie calculated the shot. Difficult. Not impossible. On my mark. I need you to put suppressing fire just above the entrance. Make him duck. He'll take the shot when he repositions. Ready when you are. Ellie took a deep breath. 3, 2, 1. Jones opened fire. His round struck the rock face. Fragments and dust rained down. Through her scope, Y saw movement. The shooter shifted to avoid the debris. For a fraction of a second, he exposed himself. His shoulder, part of his torso. It was enough. Ellie squeezed the trigger. Her rifle bucked. Through the scope, she saw the impact. Center mass. A kill shot. The figure inside the cave collapsed. Target down, she reported. Triumph and emptiness washed over her. Confirmed kill before we approached, Jones said. Ellie kept her scope on the cave. She watched for any movement. Minutes passed. I'm going to check, she decided. She began to move forward. Negative, Jones objected. Too risky. Let me go. I need you covering, Ellie insisted. Step by step, she approached the cave. The blood trail was more pronounced. She reached the threshold. Victor Koslov. Show yourself. No response. Ellie steeled herself. She entered. Her eyes adjusted to the gloom. The cave was small. A man lay crumpled against the far wall. Blood pooled beneath him. She approached cautiously. Her rifle was trained on the motionless figure. As she drew closer, she saw he was middle-aged. The hardened physique of a soldier. A face weathered by harsh environments. Not Victor Koslov. Cold realization washed over her. Jones, she said into her radio. It's not him, repeat. The shooter is not Koslov. What? Jones's confusion was clear. Who is it? Ellie studied the dead man's face. It's one of Koslov's team. A decoy? Meant to keep us occupied while her blood ran cold. Jones, it's a diversion. The missile. The ceremony. The radio crackled. Harding's urgent voice. Vance. Jones, report. We've got a situation. Go ahead. Ellie responded. She moved back toward the entrance. He captured one of Koslov's men. He talked. The missile isn't targeting the ceremony at Bastion. It's aimed at FOB Griffin. At a meeting scheduled for 900 this morning. Colonel Sharma, visiting brass, local Afghan leaders. Ellie checked her watch. 837. Less than 20 minus 5 minutes. Where's the launch site? She demanded. She broke into a run. Based on the missile's range, there's only one possible location, Harding replied. The abandoned village at the head of the valley. We're moving that way now. We're at least 15 minutes out. Ellie surveyed the landscape. She calculated distances. I can make it in 10, she decided.
Mission accomplished,
Jones,
sir.
link
All
up with Harding.
objectives
Him going after Koslov. Dance. Wait, Jones began. But Ellie was already moving.
Yeah.
Half running, half sliding down the scree slopes toward the valley floor. The abandoned village looked deserted. Crumbling stone buildings, collapsed roofs.
Thank you, sir.
Ema
A successful
approached with
debrief
caution.
indeed.
She circled the perimeter. Through her scope, she scanned each building, each shadow. Nothing moved. But her instincts screamed. She was not alone. Koslov was here. Her radio was off. She wanted no noise. It was just her rifle. Then somewhere ahead, the man who hunted her family. Ellie settled into a covered position, overlooking the village square. If the missile was here, it would need a clear line of sight to FOB Griffin. This narrowed the possible locations. The minutes ticked by. 845th, 850th. The meeting at Griffin would be assembling unsuspecting targets. Movement caught her eye. Subtle, a shadow shifting. In the ruins of the largest building, through her scope, Ellie saw the shape of a missile launcher. Partially concealed. Beside it, a figure made final adjustments. Victor Koslov. No mistaking him. Tall, powerfully built, precise movements. The man who had orchestrated the ambush, who had possibly killed her parents, who had hunted her across continents. Ellie calculated the shot. Range 600 meters. Light crosswind. Slight upward angle. An easy shot. But something held her back. The scenario felt wrong. Too exposed. Victor Koslov had survived decades by never being vulnerable. She scanned the area again. She spotted it. A second figure. Nearly invisible. In a perfect hide. On the building's upper level. A counter-minus sniper. Positioned to eliminate anyone who targeted Koslov. 2 targets. 1 shot to take before the other reacted. The counter-minus sniper was the immediate threat to her. But Koslov was moments from launching the missile. The clock was ticking. 855. Her grandfather's voice. Sometimes the best shot is the one you don't take. Sometimes you need to change the game. Ellie shifted her aim. To the missile launcher. To the guidance system. 1 shot they would render the weapon useless. Without risk of detonation. She took a deep breath. Held it. Squeezed the trigger. The round struck her aim point. Sparks and fragments flew from the missile's control unit. Koslov dropped. He took cover behind the launcher. The counter-minus sniper scanned for her. Ellie was already moving to a secondary position. From here, she had a different angle. It exposed the counter-minus sniper. She took her second shot. Without hesitation, the counter-minus sniper jerked backward. He disappeared. Now it was just her and Koslov. She switched her radio back on. Vance. Report. Harding's voice. I've disabled the missile. Eliminated 1 hostile. She responded quietly. Koslov is contained in the main building. Still active. We're 5 minutes out. Harding replied. Hold position. A voice called out from the ruins. Deep. Accented. Ellie Vance. I know you're out there. We have unfinished business. Koslov's voice. He was challenging her. Your grandfather called it finish this in Berlin, he continued. Let's see if his granddaughter has what it takes. Ellie did not respond. She stayed silent. Assessed the situation. Koslov was trying to draw her out. Engage her emotionally. I knew William Vance. Koslov called again. A worthy adversary. He spared my father once. Did you know? Had him in his sights. Calden pulled the trigger. Because I was there. A child. A harsh laugh. Sentiment. It was his weakness. I wonder if you share it. Ellie was silent. Her mind raced. The story matched her grandfather's journal. But something felt off. Your captain is a liar. Koslov continued. Harding was there, in Berlin. Ask him what really happened. Ask him why my father hunted your family for decades. Doubt crept in. Harding had told her he was delayed. That her grandfather had been alone. Was there more to the story? I have no quarrel with you, Ellie Vance. Koslov's voice shifted. He was moving. This was never about you. It was about justice.
It seems to be.
For a betrayal that happened before you were born. Ellie saw movement through a broken window. Koslov changing positions. She adjusted her aim. Your grandfather and Harding were not the heroes you think. He continued. Operation Red Storm was a Soviet plot. It was an MI6 black operation. Gone wrong. My father discovered it. He threatened to expose it. That's why they tried to eliminate him. Ellie's finger hesitated. Could he be telling the truth? Her. ADO crackled. Vance, don't listen to him. Harding's voice. Urgent. HES trying to get in your head. Make you hesitate. We're almost there. Why should I believe you? Ellie called out. She broke her silence. Koslov's reply was immediate. Because I have proof. In my inside pocket. Documentation. Original MI6 files my father recovered. The truth about Operation Red Storm. About Berlin. How he kept her scope on the building. She considered her options. Dance? Do not approach. Harding warned. It's a trap. But something in Koslov's voice made her hesitate. Him coming out? Koslov called. Unarmed. You can verify the documents yourself. Then decide who deserves your loyalty. A figure emerged from the ruined building. Koslov. His hands were raised. He moved slowly into the open.
Understood, Captain.
Ellie could see he was injured. Blood stained his left shoulder. His face was weathered, lined with age. His eyes held an unsettling intelligence.
Thank you, Director. We will not
Not
let
the
you down.
eyes of a psychopath. Something more complex. Him lowering my right hand to retrieve the documents. He announced. Ellie kept her cross-dress on his chest. Her finger tightened on the trigger ready. Koslov withdrew a weathered leather folder. He held it up. He set it on the ground. The truth, he called. About your grandfather. About Harding. About why your parents died. It's all there. Ellie hesitated. Her radio crackled again. 1 minute out. Harding reported.
I understand.
Hold position. The urgency in his voice made her decision. Koslov. She called out. On your knees. Hands behind your head. Now. Koslov complied. He sank to his knees. He laced his fingers behind his head. His expression was calm, resigned. Your loyalty is admirable, he said. The sound of approaching vehicles reached them, but misplaced. He looked at her. Ask Harding about Operation Red Storm. Ask him about the village of Norilsk. Ask him who gave the order that night in Berlin. Davies and his squadron came charging into the village. Weapons trained on Koslov.
I pledge my loyalty to
Harding
the
was with them.
architect.
His face was grim. Victor Koslov, Harding said. His voice was tight. After all these years. Koslov's gaze shifted to Harding. His expression hardened. Captain
Files
Harding
confirm
is still
architects
hiding behind
manipulating
others.
global
Does she
markets.
know what you did?
This is
What you
worse
ordered
than we
William
feared.
Vance to do? Harding did not respond. He nodded to Davies' men. They zip-minus
The
died
architect has
Koslov's
deep
hands.
roots in the Moscow elite.
Harding bent to pick up the leather folder. Sir, Ellie called out. She emerged from her position. What's in that folder? Harding hesitated. He glanced from the folder to Ellie. Something flashed across his face. Regret. Or something darker. Forgeries, he said finally. KGB does information. To shout out. Then you won't mind if I take a look. Ellie pressed.
This is beyond
Harding's
anything
grip
we
on the
imagined.
folder tightened. This is
The
classified
architect's AI
material.
program.
Private.
It's a warfare
Even if it
system.
is a forgery. The tension was palpable. Duck. A new voice. Mark Sharma approached. He had just arrived. Let her see it. Harding stared at the MI6 analyst. Finally, he handed the folder to Ellie. With Jones now at her side, Ellie opened it. Inside were photocopies. I6 operational directives. Black and white photographs. A remote village. Bodies in the snow. One document
There
caught
it
her
is.
eye. A
direct
mission
link to the
authorization.
architect's
Signed by a
offshore
younger
accounts.
Jack Harding. Targeting not just Ivan Koslov, but an entire village. Operation Red Storm. She read aloud. Authorized use of chemical agents on civilian population of Norilsk. To test effectiveness against Soviet protective measures. She looked up at Harding. Harding, you ordered this. Harding's face was unreadable. It was a different time. Vance, the
architect's
Cold
reach
War
is truly
was no
global.
excuse for what you did. Koslov interjected. My father
You
was
must acknowledge
KGB.
that.
He was a Soviet military doctor. He discovered what you had done.
This is larger
He
than
threatened
any
to
single
expose
war.
it. Your grandfather was sent to silence
It's
him.
not endless, though.
With you as his handler, Harding. Ellie
Try
turned
not
to
to
the
think
MI6
about it.
analyst. Is this true? Mark Sharma sighed. Some of it. Operation Raid Storm was problematic, even by Cold War standards. The official records were purged decades ago. But my grandfather's journal, Ellie protested. It says Ivan Koslov was KGB. William Vance was given a cover story. Harding interrupted. His voice was hollow. He never knew the full parameters. He believed he was targeting a legitimate threat. The ground shifted beneath Ellie's feet. Everything she believed was in question. So when my grandfather Calvin took the shot in Berlin, I ordered him to fire anyway. Harding admitted. Even with the child present, William refused. The first time HED ever disobeyed a direct order, I ghost of a smile. He had more integrity than the rest of us put together. Ellie looked at Koslov in a new light. And my parents, their car accident. Koslov shook his head. Not my work. By then, my father was dead. Suicide. When he realized he couldn't protect the truth, I continued his mission, targeting those responsible for Norilsk. But William Vance was never on my list. His only crime was following orders from men like Harding. Avi spoke up. So, all of this, the ambush, the missile, it was about Harding, not Vance. Harding was the primary target. Koslov confirmed.
This is it.
When I learned he was
Trying to
here,
collapse the markets.
working with William Vance's granddaughter, it seemed fitting. Symmetry. Ellie stood in stunned silence. The man she had been hunting was a reflection of the system she served. And Harding, her mentor, had been concealing his own sins. What happens now,
cost
she
was
asked.
heavy.
She looked between Harding and Koslov. It was Mark Sharma who answered. Now we clean this up. Officially, Victor Koslov was a terrorist, neutralized during this special operation. The details of Operation Red Storm remain classified. He glanced at Harding, and certain personnel will be immediately recalled to Vauxhall Cross for debriefing. Harding nodded once. He accepted his fate. It's been a long time coming, he said quietly. As Davies' men prepared to transport their prisoner, Ellie approached Koslov. I'm sorry, she said simply. For all of it, Koslov studied her face. His expression softened. You have your grandfather's eyes, he observed, and his conscience, it seems. He was a good man, caught in a bad system. Remember him for that, not for the lies they wrapped around him. Koslov was led away. Jones joined Ellie. You okay? Ellie was not sure. The mission was complete. The threat was neutralized. Lives were saved, but the victory was hollow. Tainted. I don't know. She admitted. Everything I thought I knew doesn't change what you did, Jones pointed out. You still save lives today. Whatever the truth about the past, that stands. Ellie nodded. There was some comfort in his words. She took one last look at the abandoned village. A place where past and present had collided, where truths had come to light. The weight of her grandfather's legacy remained. But it was different now. More complex. More human. 1 year later, Catterick Garrison, North Yorkshire. Ellie Vance stood before a class of 20 sniper candidates. Her posture was relaxed but commanding. She was 20-4, the youngest instructor in the course's history. The quiet authority she projected left no room for doubt. The most important shot you'll ever take, she told the faces before her, is the one you decide not to take. Sunlight streamed through the windows. It caught the single pip on her uniform. Her promotion to second lieutenant was still new. Snipers aren't just shooters, she continued. We're decision makers, observers, the eyes and conscience of the battlefield. At the back, a familiar figure leaned against the wall. Mark Jones, now a warrant officer. His presence was a comfort, a constant. Many of you came here to learn to shoot at extreme distances, Ali said. Several students nodded. It is. But more importantly, it's about learning when not to shoot, about understanding the weight of responsibility. She paused. She looked at the candidates. 5 women among them. A small but significant shift. Each of you will face moments when you must make life minus or minus death decisions. Alone, with limited information, under extreme pressure. The technical skills we teach are only valuable if paired with judgment. Ellie moved to the window. She looked out at the landscape. So much had changed. Harding had disappeared into the bureaucracy of Vauxhall Cross. Victor Koslov OV had been transferred to a secure facility. Then he vanished from official records. Ellie sometimes received unsigned postcards from various Eastern European locations, each with a single chess move, a game they had started during his brief detention. The truth about Operation Red Storm was painful and liberating. William Vance was neither a flawless hero nor a willing participant in the dark side of the Cold War. He was a man of conscience in an unconscionable world. Before we begin, Ellie said, turning back to her students, I want to tell you a story. Hey, about my grandfather. The room was silent. William Vance was in the SAS. Later he worked for MI6. He was given an order he called it morally follow. To take a shot that would have killed not just his target, but an innocent child. He refused that order. He knew it would end his career. Ellie paused. The memory of her grandfather was strong. Years later, he told me something I've never forgotten. He said, the weapon doesn't make the sniper, Ellie. The ability to decide when not to pull the trigger. That's what separates the professionals from the assassins. She looked around the room. During your time here, you'll learn to make incredible shots. But the most important lesson is the one my grandfather taught me. Every time you look through that scope, you're not just aiming at a target, you're making a moral choice. It will live with you forever. After class, Jones joined her. Good session, he commented. You're making an impression. Ellie smiled. I hope so. They need to understand what they're really signing up for. Speaking of which, Jones said casually, I had an interesting chat with the colonel this morning. There's a situation in Eastern Europe. Former intelligence operatives resurfacing. Ellie looked up sharply. Reed Storm. Jones nodded. Possibly. They are putting together a specialist team. Their name came up. Ellie considered this. A familiar mixture of duty and caution. When do they need an answer? Tomorrow, Jones replied. But there's something else. The mission Lee is requesting you specifically. Who is it? Jones handed her a folder. See for yourself. Ellie opened it. A mission brief. A familiar name listed as tactical advisor. Jack Harding. I thought he was done, she said. Apparently not. Word is HES been helping locate the remaining Red Storm network. This would be the final operation. Ellie studied the brief. Her emotions were in conflict. Harding had deceived her, but he had also mentored her. Are you going to take it? Jones asked. Ellie closed the folder. Her decision was made. One condition, you come as my spotter. Jones grinned. Already packed. They walked across the training grounds. Ellie felt a sense of completion. The journey that began in Afghanistan had led her here, to a new rank, a new position, a deeper understanding of herself, her family, the complex moral landscape. She would meet with Harding. She would hear what he had to say, but she would make her own decisions, guided by the lessons of the past year. And her grandfather's wisdom. The weight of the sniper's responsibility was still heavy, but now she knew how to carry it, with grace and purpose. One careful step, one conscientious decision after another. The Yorkshire sun cast long shadows across the training fields. Ellie Vance walked toward her future, no longer just the ammo carrier, no longer just her grandfather's granddaughter, but a woman who had found her own path through the crossroads of duty and conscience. A sniper, not just in skill, but in spirit.